Hello, this is Fun Factor. I'm Suhir Panchami from USA, and I have Priyank Agarwal as a guest today. Priyank, welcome.
Thank you, Sohail, for having me here.
Yeah. So you are an IIT grad from Pune. Is that what I got right?
Yeah, that's correct. I live in Pune. I did my engineering from IIT Roorkee.
Uh-huh. And
And
then you traveled to US and you worked here in US for some time.
yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So I basically passed out in year 2000 from Roorkee. Then I joined Infosys, worked in the IT industry, and moved to US in 2001. And
Hmm.
then I kind of lived in US for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Lived in Middle East, and then kind of moved back home to Pune.
Hmm. So you are familiar with the work ethics and the styles of operation in US. So you are back in India. You have started this project property management company called
Yeah.
HomeWise. So tell us about HomeWise.
So it's housewise .in.
Housewise. Yeah.
So
Housewise.
basically, excuse me. So Housewise is a property rental management company.
Mm-hmm.
We manage properties for non-resident Indians in 8 different cities in India. That is Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, and Mumbai. So what it essentially means is that we provide comprehensive services, right from picking up the keys, advertising, finding a suitable tenant, conducting background check of the tenant, any paperwork, legal work, periodic inspections of the property, tenant move in, tenant move out, any issue of any kind that the
Mm-hmm.
property owner would have faced and would have managed it on his own, we will manage on his or her behalf. That's what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That particular service is very common in US. It is there, and
Yeah.
this is new in India right now. I guess it's very new.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are kind of like one of a kind company, and you are absolutely right. So that in US it's common, but in India, traditionally local brokers have been taking care of such an issue, or maybe NRIs would go out to their family or friends asking for favors, and because also Indians love property, buying property back home. So it
Mm-hmm.
was always left to friends and family. Friends and family helped for some time, but later it became kind of difficult even for them and for the kind of owners to ask for professional setup, and that's where we come in. So yeah, we are one of a kind company. It never existed in India, and we are giving a very professional touch to the whole property management in India.
Mm-hmm. Now there was that Real Estate Regulation Act, right? The
Yeah,
RERA.
yeah.
Now, how does that affect for a company like yours? Do you are you a RERA compliance company, or do you need to comply to anything on that?
Sure. So RERA has been enacted in various states in India, and the state governments have launched implemented RERA in various forms and shapes.
Mm-hmm.
RERA specifically applies to people who are involved in selling the property, whether it is the builder or a property broker, or somebody else who is advertising the property or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, we are a property rental management startup.
Mm-hmm. No,
And
it's the RERA actually has the property management too, but I think it's like 500 square meters or above. You need to be, or 8 dwellings or more, something like that.
that's correct. For you're absolutely right. So for large spaces,
Mm-hmm.
and for multiple dwellings. So for a large company, which is managing property, yeah, the RERA would be applicable. In our case, because these are like smaller dwellings, and residential units that we manage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not applicable to us.
Oh. Now, how did you transform from being a technology person from IIT into a property manager?
So yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I never had thought that there's something I'm going to do. I passed out from IIT, went to Infosys, worked in US, in Arizona, lived in Phoenix, Fort Lauderdale, Salt Lake City, and while I was outside India, I had purchased property of my own, and it appeared that it was a little bit difficult to manage the property while living away from India. Whereas in the US, I could see that there are so many professional property management companies,
Mm-hmm.
it was very professional. I mean, they do what they say what they do. I mean, in general, it was just not bad, which was never the case in India. And then I moved to Dubai, and I saw the same thing. And that's when I realized that there is a pain point. There is a gap in the market. Indians love buying properties back home in India, but there is no company to manage. And that's how I decided that I should start a property management company.
Brilliant. So what your audience mainly NRI audience from here, or like you deal with people in India too?
Yeah, so we deal with basically people. I mean, requests coming from anyone, whether somebody is outside India or inside India, living in a different city, away from the location of property. In some cases, people living in the same city, if they are like very busy, they might contact us and say, "Hey, look, even if I'm living in the same city, I want you guys to manage." But predominantly, 95% of our customers are NRIs, and like 5% based in India.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you actually do the service of being building a home? Like, because I just came across someone who is having a house built in India, and he was like showing me pictures, and he has to go through a whole lot of like hoops to jump up and over. But
Yeah.
would you be able to do that for him or for someone like that wanting a property, say in Pune, if they
Yeah.
want a house in Pune?
Good question, Sohir. So, see, we are also kind of getting many requests like that. So right now, what we do is we provide any kind of maintenance service. In the sense, suppose owner needs repair like plumbing, electricals, woodwork. They need modular kitchen. So we embellish our service with the maintenance services also. Building is construction, not so much we have done, but we are getting requests, so we have plans to do that in sometime in future. But you are absolutely right that that's also a pain point for many NRIs who are kind of getting the property built in India. They purchase the land, but then how to get the construction done? I mean, that's not easy even for Indians living in India.
Yeah, that is true. Now, I mean, you can also go into something like a REIT, right? You can get into a real estate investment, someone from here itself to invest in India.
Yeah, REIT is a very interesting topic, and that's something that we have been evaluating, and many advisors have advised us to kind of get into that. So that's something planned for future. Right now, we are kind of just razor focused on property management, rental management. That by itself is like a very big requirement from the NRIs. So I mean that by itself we are kind of growing rapidly, and right now that's the razor focus we have.
Mm-hmm. No, can you give me some scenarios of problems that you have encountered or faced in this particular endeavor of yours?
Yeah, sure. Many different kind of problems we encounter.
Mhm.
So our USP is trust. I mean, people who are sitting like 1,000 miles away, they are trusting us with, with keys to their property, the biggest asset that they would have built in life.
Mhm.
And therefore, keeping that trust is like the biggest thing that we have to do. So while managing the property, while searching for the tenant, we kind of come across many different kind of tenants. We prefer like only professional, somebody salaried, working in a good company, because that's how our customers also. That's the profile of the property that they have. And in the
Mhm.
process, we sometimes find like fake tenants, like people say we work in X company, husband says I work. So one time we found a tenant, and they said, okay, we work. Husband says I work for X, wife says I work for Y. When we started the verification, we realized that they were not the employees, and then suddenly they switched off. They were not there at all.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that is one scenario we have encountered a couple of times. So our background check kind of helped there.
Mhm.
In other situations, very interesting. Like the tenant had a fight with the society, and we got called like late in the night that they they are almost going to kind of at loggerheads. Please help. So in such situations, we have to play the role of a mediator also, trying to kind of but then the problem could be on the either side, like could be with the tenant or with the society. So we have to dig down deep, find where the issue is, calm down the nerves.
Uh, Priyank, we have a caller waiting on the line. Name is
Sure.
Suresh. Can we hear Suresh?
Yes, hi.
Hello.
My name is Suresh. I'm calling from Edison, New Jersey.
Can you hear Priyank?
I can hear you. Yeah.
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 No, can you
Yes.
hear Suresh call?
Yes. Hi
Okay,
Suresh.
go on.
Yes.
Go on,
Yes,
Go
hi.
on Suresh.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that you guys are providing this type of services for the property management. Basically, like I have a couple of questions. What type of
Yeah.
services you provide for an investor who is looking to buy some properties?
Sure. So Suresh, see, our service right now is kind of focused on the rental management.
Mhm.
So what happens is, as an investor, if you purchase a property or decide to purchase a property, once you have purchased, we will be able to help you take the possession. Like your representative take the keys from the builder. When you take the keys, many times there are issues with the property, in the sense a tile is broken, bathroom is leaking, lights are not fitted, even though the builder has promised. So we will be able to, kind of be your eyes and ears on the ground, do a proper inspection, give you a formal report, and basis that, we can follow up with the builder along with you to get everything fixed. Once all that is done, we will find you a trustworthy tenant with good background check, and keep your property maintained. Any issue of any kind with your property, we will have.
Okay.
Suresh,
Actually,
do you
that
have any
was
follow-up question on it?
how do you deal with the upkeeping of the properties? So do you have subcontractors or vendors who will provide those services? Let's say there is an issue with the plumbing or
Yeah.
electrical, those kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. So we have we have trustworthy vendors who provide the all the maintenance support to us. And we have multi-city relationship with these vendors. So our motto is simple, that so we work for the owner, and our vendors have to provide the best quality at the most reasonable price to our customers. And therefore, any issue with your property of any kind, be it plumbing, electrical, carpentry, pest control, anything and everything, our vendors will be able to help. So for example, right now in COVID situation, in few cases there is, say, sanitization of the property. We are able to support, Suresh. So like everything, we'll be able to help in terms of maintenance of the property.
You also deal with like commercial properties, or is it just residential?
We deal with commercial as well in some cases. Just that because the NRI's portfolio is bigger in residential. Therefore, our portfolio of properties that we manage is more residential than it is commercial.
Now, in going back to REIT, like real estate investment funds and all those things, have you thought of raising funds and doing this?
So interesting. So what has happened is, in our journey throughout, we have been bootstrapped. Like whatever internal accruals we had, we use that to kind of manage the company and grow the company. And this April, we raised our first round of fund, and we are going to deploy that in, again, kind of hiring better people, hiring good people, investing in technologies, investing in operations. But I think the REIT is still a little bit far away from where we stand, because the demand in rental management by itself is very high, and we are still kind of working to cope up with that demand, provide quality service, and kind of grow that line of business. So REIT, I think, is still going to take some time, but that is definitely on our radar, and we have got investors who have talked about it, to us. So definitely, Suresh, that's on our radar.
There's like, it's my mistake. Suresh is still on call. Hi, Suresh. Sorry for it. You have a follow-up question?
Yeah, I was basically like asking about the upkeeping price range for various issues. Do you have any particular price range? Is it going to be competitive enough instead of paying very high, like property maintenance kind of, or what is your price range, and do you have any sample price listed out for not covering all the issues, at least for major issues like painting, plumbing, electrical?
Yeah. Okay, absolutely. So we get a standard rate card from our vendors for various services, wherever rate card is possible. In cases where the service is customized, let's say the service is such that the vendor has to visit and they give a quotation, Suresh. Our vendors will give the quotation. In terms of pricing, we are absolutely clear. We do not take any commission from our vendors, and therefore our vendors' goal is to provide the best service to you as a customer. Our customer's interest is our interest and vendor's interest, and therefore the pricing is always competitive. I wouldn't say that we would like to compare that price, Suresh, with, say, like everyone who might be there in the market, because we also have to ensure the quality of service, the credibility of the guy who is coming to your property. There has to be some quality check, and there is a cost of quality, as you would have seen in your wherever you work. So I would say yes, no compromise on quality, and the best possible price for the customer. Hope that answers your question, Suresh.
Priyank, just follow up on that.
Yeah.
Don't you actually think of having something like a, a service fee that
Yeah.
includes maintenance?
Yeah. So the way we work is, I mean, our pricing model is like this: that we charge 1.25 month rent for 1 year of service. That includes like everything, right from taking the keys, tenant finding, background check, periodic inspection, like everything, reporting. Over and above this, if there is any maintenance which is a major maintenance, then besides the actual cost, we also charge 10% of that cost as our supervision fees. That is just to cover the fact that our guy will kind of go for the maintenance. They will go there, they will supervise, they'll give report to the owner. And by the way, owner kind of becomes very happy when they see the report. They see, sometimes our team does a video call with the owners from their property. So they kind of become very comfortable that, okay, yeah, this is my property. I didn't see it for so many years. Now I see it, and there is this problem or there is this solution.
No, see, like here we have, like for co-op or condominium, they will have a set monthly fee, service fee that will include plumbing, and that will include painting periodically and some exterior maintenance. It is there. No, what I was asking, if we can maybe charge a very specific fee and then have that all included, rather than like per diem, like whenever it happens.
Sure, I think that's a good suggestion, Suri. We can most certainly look at it, and you are absolutely right. US has that model, that standard model. In India, we have not been able to implement, but yes, that's something that we will look at. We can look at. So that's a good suggestion.
Going to the funding, getting funds. Are you having an issue with do you have an objection to taking investors or VCs for this your project? Or?
So basically, what has happened is, early on, I kind of got advice from my mentors and advisory board that try to grow the company as much as possible without the fund. Use your own funds, and so I put my own money, and then the company has been profitable. Whatever profits we accrued, we invested back into the company, and that's how we grew. Also, because the focus was on execution, we have built a sustainable business. So here, as you would appreciate, I mean, it's not just that we have invested and we are burning money. No, not at all. We have built a very sustainable business. So I'm kind of, we have raised like angel fund, like funds from angel in April, by the way. I mean, just a couple of months back. But VC money is something that I kind of am skeptical of at the moment, because with VC money comes pressures to grow the company in a certain way. Growth should come at all costs, as they say. The problem that happens.
Organic growth.
Yes, I would like maybe organic growth and high growth, but not grow at all costs, as they say. So yeah.
Okay. So what's the status of the company at this point?
So see, we are basically operational in 8 cities in India: Pune, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, and Mumbai. All these cities, we have our own office, our own people managing the properties. We manage over 750 properties across India, and we have customers from 21 countries whose properties we manage in India.
Mhm.
All these customers have come organically. So they have found us, and they come to us and sign up. So we grew like 3x last financial year ending March, and in spite of COVID, we intend to grow 5x, 5 times this financial year. So we are doing all right. We are growing, and with God's grace, yeah, we are doing fine.
Hmm. So you're in 8 cities. Like, is there like city-specific nuances that you have, or there must be something big difference between being in New Delhi and Chennai?
Yes, of course, of course. The cultures, it's very interesting that every city we started, we found a new culture, and our team that we set up in each city, they helped us kind of adapt to that culture. So I would say this, so for example, in Bangalore, the owners generally ask for 10-month deposit, and they ask for painting to be done mandatorily after when the 10 vacates, which is not the case in any other city in India. And like for example, in Noida, the advance security deposit is only like 1 month in general. In Hyderabad, it is 2 months. Pune, it is like 5 months. So there are like city specific kind of nuances definitely there. The other thing that we do is that even if we are in different cities and there are city specific nuances, we have ensured that the quality of service, our processes, the quality of people we hire, the process we follow to hire is all standardized in every city. So I mean that way it is pretty standard from our perspective. But yes, I mean we have adapted to the local cultures in that way in each city.
You have to do that to survive, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what is like uh, a problem that you encounter in, say, in Chennai that is like unique, or something that you want to share,
Yeah,
or any other city for that matter?
yeah, yeah. So I'm just thinking. We have encountered like many different kind of issues. So there was this one time when we were kind of searching for a tenant in Hyderabad. That's an example that comes to my mind right now. So this property was empty for like a month and a half, and the owner was kind of getting impatient, because the property was empty. And there were these husband and wife who came like on a Sunday, and they liked the property. They said, we want to take it today. So we said, okay, very good. Let's do the background check that we do, and we started that. We said, let's today's Sunday, but let's try and finish it. And then we asked them to send some information from their employer. They said, look, today's Sunday, we'll give it to you tomorrow, but we'll move in today. So my team said, yeah, I think tomorrow is not a problem. I mean, but as a process, we have to do the background check and then move in. So these guys said, look, it's just one day thing. Tomorrow we will do the background check. So we didn't agree. We said, no, look, we don't want to change our process. So then we had a discussion with the owner. Owner said, it's one day thing. Why are you guys making such a big deal out of this background check? Let's do it tomorrow. So we told him, look, as your advisor, we don't want to do it. But if you are comfortable taking that risk, we'll go with your decision. And then owner thought about it. He said, no, you guys are making the right call. You make the decision. And guess what? As soon as we started the background check, we found it failed. It failed miserably, and thank God that we kind of did not change the process. And that was a learning for us. that yes, we must stick to our guns no matter what the exception situation is. And this we have encountered while in many cities, but in Hyderabad multiple times when we kind of had tenants who were fake.
Hmm. Yeah, it is a like cheating is a common problem. Now, how does like I have a friend who just had to get certain certificates out of offices in
Yeah,
this in Chennai and had to go through a whole lot of bribing to get like a death certificate. Now,
yeah.
how does that work in your area of being able to evict and being able to do the background checks? Like being able
So
to is very critical, right? So.
yeah, so I think the I mean you've raised an important point. So so there are many times that we have to deal with the government offices, and we have our licensing partners who have kind of established strong relationships with the with and they know the way to kind of go to the office, get the work done. So kind of we get a lot of help from there, but we kind of have a like a no bribe policy. I mean, we do not pay bribe or anything like that. I mean, so it's mostly through the relationships that our vendors are able to get the work done. In terms of rental management, many times you're absolutely right. A lot of documentation is required. Many times we have so many scenarios like if the owner has been living outside India for long, then they might not have paid property tax for many years or maybe never paid. We have seen situations where they've never paid tax, property tax, and they want to kind of clear the backlog. In such case, like a lot of calculations are required. How much is the tax and things like that. And then sometimes the name change hasn't happened, like the electricity bill would still be coming in the name of the builder, and we have to get it transferred to the owner's name. So that's where again our partners come in. So
Mhm. Um, but by the way, so what is your idea for, say, a new entrepreneur? Would you say they should get into something like what you're doing, or it's
I would say entrepreneurship is exciting, and but it's different from our regular job. I left my cushy job for my passion of kind of building something big.
Mhm.
But it was a difficult decision for me. I would say like if you are in a job, you want to go become an entrepreneur, do it not just because it appears fashionable, because there is, I mean, it appears fashionable but there is a lot of sweat and blood and sweat behind that, a lot of
Mhm.
hard work, a lot of sacrifices in every way. Financial sacrifice you will do, family time will go off, vacations will go away, a lot of sacrifices. But yes, it's worth. In the end, it's worth it. So I would say to any entrepreneur, any budding entrepreneur, that think through carefully.
Mhm.
Once you have thought, you know what you're getting into. Go for it, but also remember that it could be like a multi-year or a decade long. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And it will and it's a lonely journey also, but there is no journey like this. I mean, I'm absolutely enjoying.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, I have a question pertaining to real estate in India. There was
Hmm.
like a boom, maybe in 2007, somewhere in that area. There was like
Yes.
a whole lot of buildings coming up in Hyderabad and in Pune and Bombay. And then there were people stuck with empty apartments, empty buildings.
Yeah, yeah,
So, with your service in place, is
yeah.
it is Is real estate back again a safe place to invest in India, or what's happening?
Yeah, I think Indian real estate has gone through that cycle of boom and slowdown and a long slowdown. So I think in cases where people kind of bought for say just the price hikes or just to ride the cycle of uptick in the prices, yeah, they got stuck. So as a company, what we are doing is we are able to monetize that real estate by way of rentals, something that people might not have planned for earlier. But now at least, rather than kind of keeping the property empty, it is better that it goes on rent. It gets some rentals, some income, regular income, in fact. And on the other hand, if you see, I mean, if you look at the other aspect of it, if you have an empty building and somebody wants to purchase a property there, he would say, I kind of don't want to live in a building which is empty and I'm living there alone or like just few residents. However, if there are a lot of tenants living, and then you kind of go and see, oh, so many lights are on, yeah, this is a place I can live. And you might be kind of willing to pay a little bit premium also to kind of buy that property, a flat in that building rather than.
It looks popular. It looks the happening place to be in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Now, there's like something in US, like when you buy a property, you basically rent it to cover the mortgage expenses and the taxes. Your rent usually covers all the expenses. What's the deal with like buying a property in India and getting it covered, getting the payments covered with the rent? Is it possible?
That's a very good comparison. I mean, in India, it's different because the rental, especially in case of the residential, the rental yields are lower. So the rental yield would kind of hover between, let's say, 2% to, let's say, 4%, depending on which city we are in and which area of the city we are in. So that's kind of not enough to cover the mortgage. The mortgage rates in India are also high, currently between 7 and 8%. And, at some point, let's say a couple of years back, they were as high as like 9%, 9.5%. So I think mostly the investment, the return on investment comes by way of appreciation in the prices because the inflation in India is high. But to answer your question, the mortgage is like very difficult to cover it with the rent in short term.
Now, are you like trying to move into a different segment of the market or even move out of the country, like say perhaps manage in Dubai as where you were or even in US? Do you have any idea of doing that? Or?
Well, that's something on the cards. Basically, see, we have grown like city by city. We have not kind of gone into like all the cities at one shot. And therefore, we are looking at a couple of other cities like Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Indore, Jaipur. We kind of keep getting requests. And we keep, saying to our customers that, not yet. And in some cases, the customers say, why not, why not this city? Why not you please enter this city? So that's definitely on the cards because we want to be able to service like the breadth of customers. And to kind of, add on to that, we also intend to kind of go into the other Asian countries like Sri Lanka, where the profile of people is like similar. Like, so for example, I mean, there are a lot of Sri Lankans who left Sri Lanka and living abroad, but they have family in India. They want to buy family in Sri Lanka. They want to buy property in Sri Lanka. So we are definitely looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
I think US and Dubai is still like maybe a couple of years away. I mean, because we have to kind of expand in India and other Asian countries. That's what we will look at, and then kind of look at US and other Western countries.
Mm-hmm. Do you actually have something like a title search company kind of thing that can actually validate who owns the properties and all those legal paperwork in India? Is that something that you have available?
Yes, of course. We help with that. In few cases where the customers come and they're say buying a property and they do this, they want to do this title check, we can, like I said, we have our partners who have good licensing with the government banks. They help us get the title search. And it's very important because as you would know, title in India could be like murky and confused and things like that. So we help with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's something to look into, like perhaps like people who wanting to build dream homes in India, they can perhaps reach you and get a dream home built in India, like how they do it in like in this part of the world, yeah, at least. So now tell me about like how it is in Vijayawada.
Yeah. So Vijayawada, I mean, we have gotten a lot of requests because people in Andhra, a lot of them have gone abroad and bought properties in various parts of Andhra and Telangana, and but unfortunately for now we are in Hyderabad. We are definitely considering Vijayawada as one of the locations where we could expand. But we will announce whenever as soon as we open. Right now it's Hyderabad that our focus is.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, they have Visakhapatnam, you have Guntur, then you have of course the capital Amaravati and Ongole. They're like Andhra is happening state.
Yes, it is. Andhra is definitely happening. You're right. I mean, we get requests all the time. In fact, for Visakhapatnam also, we get a lot of requests. So we are definitely considering these cities, and we will announce, as soon as we are able to open in each of these cities.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, are you willing to, for an example, partner with somebody in Vijayawada, or is that something you're open to?
In general, we kind of we have not partnered with any external partner for property management. We have always set up our own office, our own team, and the reason is that when a NRI gives keys to their property to us, it's like the biggest asset in general that they would have got in life. It's a hard-earned money, and we kind of we can kind of appreciate that trust, and therefore when we hire very trustworthy team. I have a very, very nice team that we have built, and therefore right now we are kind of not open to partnerships that way for property management, but rather kind of do that from our own staff and leveraging our team's strength.
Okay. Now here we have something like Berkshire Hathaway Property Management, right? That's a pretty big company. Now, when they go into a new city, they basically go and either like acquire existing companies in that area, or even allow partners to apply for that thing to become members. That's the methodology, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, see the difference is that in India, in US, there is this, if the law says X, then it is X, and X is implemented, and you can do that. In India, we have to be careful with what we do, and we being in kind of a business where we are dealing with expensive asset, we have to be very careful how we do it. We are overly cautious, I would say, and that's why we are not able to kind of do things the way, say, in the Western world, in the US, it could happen. That's the challenge we face all the time, and sometimes, so here, we could have done it. We could have followed the practices, available in the US. The issue is, on the ground implementation of those practices, if something were to go wrong, it would backfire like big time, and to correct a situation in India, it's difficult. So our mantra is prevention better than cure. So that's why we are like overly cautious in our approach to property management.
So do you somehow segregate like the operations in Pune and operations in Hyderabad and Noida and all? Are they segregated, or they come in together into one like umbrella organization that just oversees every detail in micromanages in the local settings?
So basically, yes, we definitely have to segregate the operations team, because each city has very different flavor to property management, different like nuances, like I mentioned earlier, how many months of security deposit and things like that. So what we do is we have like local team in every city, on the ground staff, operations associates, operations managers who are local to the city. But because finally they have to roll up into one operations organization. So at a central level, we are headquartered in Pune, and that's where everything rolls up to. And therefore, if we find, suppose there is a best practice that came from Hyderabad, then that best practice could be taken over into Pune and or implemented like across India. So that most certainly happens. That way there is
learning and all. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So that transfer of best practices could happen. Lessons learned. Sometimes we learn lesson. In one case, like what happened was, when tenant was moving out, we took the electricity meter reading, and the tenant kind of gave a bill which was like a month old, and we missed. So they said, okay, I paid the bill, here is the receipt, but that was like a month old, and we missed that. So then we kind of implemented that learning, not just in Pune but across India. So that way we have collaboration of these all these teams, local teams in every city.
Brilliant. Now, so how do people get in touch with you now? This is
Sure. So various ways. They can just go to our website, housewise.in, and send an inquiry from there. There is a phone number given on the website. They could either call or WhatsApp on that number. There is a WhatsApp link also on the website. And then there is also an email given on the website, sales@housewise.in. They could, if they send an email there, they'll get a response immediately. So multiple ways they can reach out.
Brilliant. And now, what's your long-term plan on this? The next step.
Well, sure. So our vision is that we should be managing like 2 lakh properties in India in next couple of years. Our intention is to kind of make the breadth of our services larger. So we should like in the beginning of the conversation, so you had mentioned, what if I want to build a house in India? So we want to be able to give all the services, be it from building the house or maybe property maintenance, like everything related to property. We also want to be able to go into other cities. I mentioned prominent cities from where people have gone outside India. And then obviously at some point we want to go international, replicate the same model in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and other Asian countries to begin with. Eventually US.
In just off my head, in Kerala, for an example, all these people who go into Middle East, and they have built these massive dream homes, and they're empty. And that's what I hear. They're empty homes. Like, so what is the solution that you have for somebody who has have these massive homes and they are empty? How would you be able to keep them empty? Like, maybe they don't want anyone to live there. They just want to have that property secured.
Yeah. Oh, great question. Great question for you. So I think, yes, that's another problem that NRIs face. That sometimes they just don't want the tenant, but they want the property to be maintained, secured, and everything. And that's absolutely something we do for many customers. So what we do is we do quarterly inspection of the property. We produce a report, formal report, like the property is fine, or there is this small problem that is happening. This is what we can do to fix the problem. We also have provided automated locks to the owners, which can be opened not by traditional key, but by way of a SMS. So owner has the control. If suppose we want to go in, so they would kind of send a code to us, and we'll enter the code and get into the property. And so owner kind of completely knows who is going in, going out. So that way we kind of manage the empty houses, empty places,
and maintain the lawn and all those things, and keep them all in good shape.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now there's a second scenario. You have a situation where the parents pass, and there are a lot of properties that requiring transfer of ownership. And then going through the is there something that you can do, help them with that?
Yes, absolutely. We help people with the legal legwork in India, wherein the legal ownership has to be transferred, and say like everything is settled amicably, like the siblings are okay with transfer and the share of property and everything. And so all the legwork on the ground we are able to manage, we are able to help. And you're absolutely right. That's a common scenario.
Yeah, it's a big scenario, and sometimes it's just one kid, but there are a lot of properties. Sometimes the kid doesn't know how many properties their parents had, and it's kind of weird. But it is there. Okay, now I just want to run this. This is housewise is .in. That is the website. I guess we will put that up on it. Sometimes it's housewise.in, and we are talking to Priyank Agarwal, who is a technocrat who became an entrepreneur, and who is doing a marvelous job of property management in India. One of a kind company in India. And so tell me something about you personally, Priyan. Like, what's your status in life? Are you single and available, or I'm just asking you?
It's interesting. My wife might be listening, in the different room. So I have my lovely wife Neha, and I have 8-year-old son Ryansh. So we came. So ever since I got married, we kind of lived in different cities in India. And my son was born in Pune. Pune is the longest time we have ever lived together in a city, and we have kind of made Pune our home right now. And yeah, so Neha and Riyansh also kind of love the city. Riyansh was born in Pune, so I think, yeah, and I guess that's the personal status.
Okay, brilliant. So that's the end of the show. It has been a beautiful show, and thank you so much for a wonderful time and being up so early in the morning at 4 o'clock in India. Thank you, Priyank, and we shall talk later.
It was my pleasure being. Thank you for having me, Sudhir.
Thank you. And that is Fun Factor, and see you on another Fun Factor. Thank you.